Hello. Hello. It is 1 o'clock, so I think we must get started. We are here at the Walton Verona Middle School, and because of the inclement weather, we are pleased that Dr. Soror, the superintendent of schools, has given us permission to meet inside this all-purpose room of the Walton Verona Middle School. We are here to unveil that beautiful historic marker that is already planted out in the parking lot area there. And so we look forward to doing that in spite of the rain. All right. But I want to welcome you on behalf of the Boone County Historical Society. I'm Betsy Conrad. I'm the president of the society. And I want to express our gratitude to Walton Verona School Superintendent, Dr. Robert Soror, who has just entered the room again, for permitting us to hold this ceremony inside because of the rain. The mission of the Boone County Historical Society is to develop awareness and promote appreciation of the history of Boone County, Kentucky. We are fortunate to partner with the Boone County Public Library for various programs which help us achieve this mission. Now, our meetings are held in the main library for the most part, and we bring special presentations on the third Thursday evenings of the odd-numbered months. Our governing body consists of, and if you will stand when I call your name, please, Vice President Tom Schiffer. There's Tom. Secretary Pat Yanarella. There she is, right there. Treasurer Steve Conrad. And board members Betty Poole, who I don't see here yet, although she said last night she would try to make it, and she may be late, but that's okay. Ron Buckley. Where's Ron? There he is in the back. Brent Johansson, right here. Carol Schiffer. There's Carol in the back row. And Kathy Myers. There she is. All right. Thank you all for being here. When the current iteration of Boone County Historical Society was launched, the Honorable Bruce Ferguson, our past judge executive, was instrumental in its founding. Judge Ferguson charged us with the task of increasing the number of historical markers in Boone County. And I'm thrilled to report that this marker, I'm taking somebody's, this marker is the 9th one, sorry Judge, to be installed during the past 5 years. We have invited a number of important people with us today, and I'd like to recognize each one of those and ask them to say a few words. Unfortunately, Senator Schickel emailed yesterday that he was unable to come. But I would like to introduce our Boone County Judge Executive, Gary Moore.
Thank you, Betsy. It is always a pleasure to be with you and be a part of these ceremonies. Judge Ferguson gave you this charge, and you've been quite successful with it. As you mentioned, your 9th marker in the county. When I think about our county today, and you don't have to drive or look around very far to see that it's changing quickly, as it has been now for the last 30 years or more. We have to be very diligent and very wise in how we ensure that the young people of our community and future generations know our history. We have to be very diligent in the way that we mark these very important sites, how we document and catalog what took place on these sites, and how we need to protect these sites. The work of this organization is evidence that that is happening. The challenges do become greater as we grow, faster and faster it seems. I always find that many of the great things that take place in this county were started by Judge Bruce Ferguson. What a remarkable man. And I would regularly counsel with Bruce to ask him how I'm doing, to get his input and his just his direction. And he was a mentor to me, and I miss him. I know we all do. But what a wonderful man, and what a great work he did for our county. Someone asked me the other day, they said, how long have you been serving now as county judge? And I'm in my 19th year.
Wow.
They're 4-year terms, and I'm in my 5th term. And I'm going to be hoping to stick around a little longer because we have so many things underway that we want to finish. But they asked me, they said, have you been serving longer than Bruce? And my comment was, I don't know that if anyone will ever serve as long as Bruce, but he was our county judge executive, county judge and then county judge executive over a 27 or 28-year period. There was a 4-year tenure there in the middle that he was out of office, but he came back. And it's an honor to be able to serve as your judge executive and to try to carry on the work that he started. He loved this county as I do, and the work of making sure that these changes that take place not only are for good, but they add to our quality of life, and that we don't wipe out and forget our rich history and our heritage. So thank you for your work. I didn't know about this site until I was invited to this event today. So these events are so important, even to folks that are involved in the community, to make sure that we're aware of some of the good work that was done by our past generations, and that is passed on to future. I want to thank all the members of the organization, of the society, all you officers and members for the work you do. You probably don't get the credit that you deserve, and we'll see if we can maybe help with that as we go forward. You say your organization is to promote awareness and appreciation, and I'm aware of what you're doing, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. And I assure you that Judge Moore has helped us so much, because every time we make an application for another historic marker, he's right up there to swing the bat for us by providing us a letter of recommendation. And for that, Judge, I am so grateful. We all are. Thank you so much. And next, I would like to ask Walton Verona School Superintendent, Dr. Robert Soror, to come to the microphone and tell us what he wants us to know. Thank you.
Welcome to Walton Verona Middle School. I tend to have an upbeat outlook. It's partly sunny. It's going to be a good day. We had 3 plans. This is Plan B, so we didn't have to go to Plan C, and I'm very happy for that. I'd like to introduce a couple of our folks because things like this don't happen by accident. One of our board members, Heather Stewart, would you stand up and be recognized, please? Heather is a Walton Verona graduate and been on our board for, I think, in her 3rd year, and has made some major contributions. She comes to everything, and I sincerely appreciate that. In the back, standing in front of the window there, that's Mark Crumman. He's our assistant superintendent. When JB walked in, he wanted to know how old you had to be to get in here, and I said, JB, you just have to be 6 feet up. you know, there's a couple folks that may remember Elmer Wright, and probably more than a couple. Well, that's Elmer Wright's grandson, and also a Walton Brunner graduate. And the tall guy in the back is Eric Moore Wessel. He's our middle school principal, and the students that we have standing at the back wall. I'm not going to say everyone's name, but this is our Principals Advisory Council for the middle school, and they're going to, I have 6 umbrellas, 2 ponchos, and a disposable poncho, and they're going to go out and unveil this thing here in just a few minutes. But,
we do have boys in this group, they're just not here.
you know, I met a few folks today that I had never met before, including Steve and Betsy. And I know a lot more people were involved in this than those 2 folks, but they both, I have them on speed dial, and they have me on speed dial. And we've been working on this for a very long time, and, you know, I'm so proud. You know, I did know this was a CCC camp, and I did. Really, somebody told me that when I came here in 1987, but what I noticed was in 1993, when we did that addition, you all that grew up in the country, you know, we didn't have garbage trucks. What you did is you burned your garbage and you tried to find a sinkhole somewhere, and we found the garbage sinkhole. Oh my God. That was kind of interesting. So. It's more than interesting. We had to dig all that stuff out of it.
Good stuff in
It was good stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, tell you a little, you know, a story that wasn't going to be a part of this, but yesterday we had an awards ceremony for our seniors. Brand new activity, never did it this way before. Huge success. We're tickled to death, but JB gives a scholarship each year, and he got up there to give the scholarship, and he came back, and I got to talking to him, and he said, what's this that I hear about? We're having a Triple C program over at the middle school. So what's a Triple C? And you know, I'm 67 years old, going to be 68 in a month, and I never heard the CCC called that. But you know, there are a lot of folks that are invested in our community here, and are well aware of our heritage. Our motto, which is a combination of our vision and purpose, is a tradition of excellence. And we always try to build on that, and our school board always gives us the resources to maintain those levels. We've changed dramatically in the past few years in terms of the number of students that we had. When I came here, we had 744. Now we have 1,675 on a good day. And you know, we keep growing, and things are wonderful here. I've never come to work a day in my life, and I'm so fortunate to be a part of this. We have the best kids in the world. This place, we didn't do anything special except set it up. It looks this nice all the time, and that's something for which I'm very, very proud. You know, special thanks. I don't know that I said this, but I meant to, but I did want to thank Steve and Betsy, because I bet we've been on the phone together over 30 times in the past year to make this happen. But, you know, we really appreciate it. You know, the other thing, and I think our kids get this, I had a couple YouTubes our kids made, not for this program, but for the CCC. And they were kind of interesting, but I didn't know what the day would hold and couldn't show them if we were standing out there, so I decided not to, you know, bring them forward. But our students are well aware that in order to have a roadmap for the future, you have to understand the past. And I don't know if any of you have had the pleasure of attending any of our events here, in particular athletic events, because we fill up our side every game, boys and girls, football or not, basketball or not, and the other side is empty. And a lot of times our kids go sit behind our kids because there's room. point is, when you come to play Walton Verona, you're playing the community, not just the team. And that's reflected in our school climate and culture. Again, thank you all, and Betsy, I've read the program, but give me the word, and the kids know what to do when you're ready.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next, I would like to ask our Kentucky Historical Society representative, Amanda Higgins, is the Community Engagement Administrator. And I hope I got that right. And she's a local gal too. She's from Northern Kentucky. And she, because I was going to say she came all the way up from Frankfurt. But Mandy will call her. And Mandy's going to come and say a few words to us now.
It's nice to come home to Northern Kentucky. I won't, don't hold it against me. I'm actually a Kenton Countyan. Don't hold it against me. We are so excited to be here for a marker dedication. The Kentucky Historical Society administers a markers program. We've helped dedicate more than 2,500 since 1949. I really like going to these events because you see the community invested. It's hearing that everything about Walton Verona as a community makes us feel really good about the jobs that we do in Frankfurt to help the state tell its stories. Being here with this and with the CCC dedication is really, really exciting to hear that this is the 9th marker in 5 years is even more exciting. So we look forward to the next application and to be back to dedicate again soon. The other thing I wanted to talk about just very quickly is the other ways that we help local communities tell their stories and embrace their past. We administer the Kentucky Local History Trust Fund, which is a grant program that is funded through tax donations from state income taxes or private donations. Last year, we were really excited to give a grant to the Boone County Public Library to help them preserve the Rabbit Hash Historical Society's collection. So we are investing in Boone County. We do some other very cool things, the Oral History Commission, the Explore KY History app, so your marker can go on the app and people can come see it and visit it when they're visiting Boone County. We'll talk about that if you'd like to do that. And we do a number of other things. Please, as you think about telling your stories, think about us too. We would love to help you tell your stories in the best way possible and to make sure that you have all the tools at your hands to do that. It's always nice to be in the school. Think about those again. It's been a long time. Anyway, I don't want to take too much more time because I think the best part of any marker dedication is unveiling the marker. So thank you for having us. Thank you for investing in your community's history and for helping to tell great Kentucky stories.
Thank you so much. And before I introduce our speaker, Becher, who is the absolute source authority on all things history. But let me just quick give a nod to Dennis Vesper. Where's Dennis? There he is. Dennis Vesper is the Boone County Marker Chairman. Now we heard through the grapevine, Dennis, that you're thinking about retiring. I don't think we're going to let you. We always appreciate Dennis's insight, and when Steve and the folks from District, whatever it is, 5 or 6 in the Highway Department go out to say, okay, where are we going to put this marker? We'll put a big red or orange sprayed X on the spot that they decide that's not going to be in the way of anybody, it's not going to puncture any pipes underneath. Dennis's insight and assistance is invaluable, and that's why we're not going to let you retire, because they say they're not going to have county marker chairman anymore from the KHS. But we just want you to know how much we appreciate the work that you've done with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, our special dedication address is going to be presented by Matt Becher, whom I'm sure all of y'all know. Matt works for the Boone County Planning Commission. He is the Rural Open Space Planner. He guides the Boone County Preservation Review Board, and he is our go-to person. Matt is so versed on, if he doesn't know something, he knows where to find that information, and we rely on him. He's the one who did all the research for this marker and then created the text. And that's such a chore because you're limited to so many characters, so many words. And so you have to be able to condense it. And he works right with Kentucky Historical Society to get that right on the button. So please welcome our dear friend, Matt Becher.
Welcome our dear friend Lisa Rouse to say a couple things.
Okay.
He remembers this place,
That's right.
so we need to hear something
I
from
was going to
him.
call him later.
Yeah.
That's fine. Hello.
When I was 7 years old, I was born and raised in Walton. I was born on Main Street in 1930 on July the 11th. I'll be 87 on July the 11th this year. It's a mystery to me. I thought it would take longer to get to 87.
Yeah, right.
When I first started practicing law in 1953, the county had a population of 12,500 people. If I didn't know them, Melvin Collins did. He helped me pick many a jury. Wasn't too long that he wouldn't know anybody on the list. The town took, or the county took off, and now look at it. Mr. Soror and I have one thing in common. We both graduated from Dixie Heights High School. I went 8 years here at Walton. It was on Old Main Street, and during the war, the teachers were few and far between, and anyhow, my dad thought I had a little sense. Not too sure he was right about that, but he said, I've checked it, you ought to go to Dixie, and I did, all 4 years. It was neat at Dixie, though, because all those kids I was with in college prep, for them, freshmen in college were just grade 13, you just keep going. Probably the incentive I needed. Anyhow, when I started practicing with 12,500 people in the county, time went on. But that's not what we're going to talk about. The reason I say that is because to give you some idea of how long I've been around. I think if I were on television, it'd be time for me to sit down. But anyway, when I was 7 years old, I had an inquiring mind. I was an absolute nuisance. I'd been in every front porch in town. I knew who lived where. I knew who they were and the name of their dog. That was me. That was my personality. I was a total nuisance to everybody in sight. But that kind of did a good thing for me because it got me a tour of the 3C camp at 787. And believe me, folks, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that in my memory and in my mind, I can see every cottage. I can see the the boxing ring. I can see the kitchen. I can see the exercise room. I can see it all. It was here. Alta Vista ended where the concrete is, where, a World War II guy that died up here at the end of the concrete. Help me out here. It doesn't matter. Anyhow, the rest of it was gravel. The gravel just went back to a farm, which is where the come on, let's wake up, buddy. The baseball field was, and it was a terrible baseball field. There was no alteration of it. There was no change in the topography. And if a ball went in a certain place, it rolled forever because it was going downhill. Well, that was there. But when I was 7, thanks to Franklin D. Roosevelt, the Civilian Conservation Corps decided to build at Walton, and everybody was terribly excited about that, as well they should have been. A friend of mine, my uncle as a matter of fact, named Bill Bertram, he and his real good friend graduated from Greenville High School in Dark County, Bud Kelly, and they had football scholarships to little old Wittenberg. When they got out of, they got their degree, but they couldn't get a job. The depression was tough. So they both joined the 3 C's and were sent to Walton to station here. Both of them thought this was the end of the world. But it was a neat thing. For one thing, Aunt Shirley met Uncle Bert and became my uncle. That was kind of cool. It was something. The James Theater finally opened, and we thought that was the keenest thing around. It was really beautiful. You can't believe how neat it was. That was when movies were big stuff. TV took care of that later on. But when the boys that belonged to the 3 C's came, they said, if you walked in, on the left, the extreme left, they filled about 4 or 5 rows. And all the girls in town were really anxious to see them. It was kind of neat. But that was just part of it. It was quite a place. I remember it well. I'm not going to bore you with any detail. I've already hurt your eardrums too long. But I'm the only person I know that's alive that remembers it. And I'm the only person I know anywhere that has the vivid memories of the Civilian Conservation Corps 3C, CCC place here at the end of a gravel road on farmland, sure, a baseball field owned by John L. Best, some field, but there it was. When they built the facility and all the buildings and things on it, they didn't change the topography a bit. But it worked out fine, and when I toured it, I recognized faces all over the place. Jimmy Clegg, for example, Bud Young, for example, on it goes. I just wanted to say this because being the only person alive that remembers it, kind of deserves to stand up here and say a word or two, so I have. Thank you.
Hey, Bud.
Well, he's right. He needed to come up here and tell the story because he's the only one who really knows. When Betsy and Steve asked me to look into doing this one, I knew the place had existed, but I didn't know much else beyond it. Didn't know much about CCC camps either. About all I knew about CCC was that it was another one of the make-work programs from the Depression era, and that you would see concrete stamped CCC periodically, and that was the extent of my knowledge. So when I got into looking at this, I found out that in general, we're all standing here because this is a campaign promise of FDR. In 1932, one of the things he promised to do was deal with the timber reserve issue and then soil erosion. Those are big issues back then. So he got elected within his first 100 days. Here we are. His first 100 days, executive orders, the whole 9 yards. It all comes back, doesn't it? This is Executive Order 6106, was creating the CCC, actually under the Emergency Conservation Work Act in April of 1933. That was at the end of his first 100 days. People talk about, there's a little bit of controversy as I digress about executive orders, the first 100 days. They talk about, overuse of powers. FDR did 99, this was his 99th executive order in that period of time. And FDR did over 6,000 executive orders. So our modern guys, I won't hold a candle to them. They might do 308 years. He did 300 a year for 12 years. So he put a lot of power in the pen. Like I said, so this was a make-work program, the CCC. What was going on? Think about the big picture. The Depression was raging at that point. Drought had already started to hit the U.S. There were years of drought in the 30s that just added and added and added. Well, the Dust Bowl didn't come along for a couple more years when the skies were black with dust that reached Washington and New York. They knew they were getting into trouble. Modern mechanized farming had created issues that they needed to deal with. So they got into this whole concept of soil conservation. Created camps like this. This one was actually erected at the height of the program. in July of 1935 when manager's name was Captain Robert Adams, and 23 men showed up here with several truckloads of wood, built 5 tents. That was the height of the CCC. Created this camp called CC Camp number 3541. By August of that year, there were 2,900 CC camps around the country, employing 506,000 men. It was the biggest of all the make-work programs, bigger than the WPA, the PWD, any of them. It was the biggest, which I didn't know either. Full complement here was reached on August 8th of that year, 1935. And it stayed at about 200 for its duration, as they all were. It was a simple formula, as Asa recalls coming in, seeing these cottages. There would have been 8 cottages with about 25 guys in each. A cook tent or shack, some recreation facilities. He remembers a boxing ring. They also had a basketball team and football team, and entertained themselves in other ways. They had a camp, newspaper called the Camp Crier, which, by the way, is the only place I've ever seen the term Camp Bean Ridge. My guess is they created it as an endearing term for themselves for this place that they were living in for that time. It was cited somewhere else. I've not seen it. They were one of 44 CCC camps in the state, and they were designated as a sub-designation Soil Conservation Camp number 5. There were 27 of those in Kentucky. Their task was entirely dedicated to erosion control and soil conservation. There were 10 different types of CCC camps. Some did construction, some built roads, trails, managed livestock, wildlife management, all sorts of things. This one did nothing but soil control and soil conservation, erosion control. That's what its goal was. So they got out to the community, and as Asa mentioned to me earlier, a large proportion of the men who worked here were local farmers. The idea was they're going to teach local farmers how to do soil conservation. So they taught them what were then revolutionary concepts: crop rotation, contour farming, and strip cropping. They planted 500,000 black locust trees in Boone County and surrounding areas in 3 years. I imagine they probably reached 1 million by the time they were done. And that's a small drop in the bucket compared to the 3 billion trees that the CCC planted around the country at that time. So our landscape that we see today was altered by these men in ways that we probably will never quite understand. One example I know of is if you're driving a 42 in Ridgewood, there's a stand of evergreen trees on the west-hand side of the road. That was a rest area that they built when US 42 was a major highway.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And folks I know still remember that being an operation.
I do.
Yeah, it was a rest area, just like the I-75 rest area.
They had picnic tables there and everything, didn't they?
Yeah. So amongst other things they did, collected nuts for tree nurseries, walnut, hickory nuts, other natural items. They fought fires locally. They helped with Boy Scout projects. So they did more than what they were originally charged to do. They made farm management plans in a 4-county area. 161 farms were affected by them in a positive way, one way or another, farm management plans or otherwise. In the 37 flood, they provided a lot of flood relief. They went down to the affected areas along the river, and this site served as a relief shelter for a period of time in January and February during the height of the flood. Their Camp Crier newsletter, as I mentioned, was camp news, and I mean, if you guys see it to believe it, it's mostly handwritten, and there's bits and pieces of poetry, gossip, announcements, sports scores, all sorts of fun stuff like that. But it's very much centered on these 200 guys who called this place home for 6 months at a time. And finally, the other thing they did is they had open houses, and one reason to justify themselves. Say, this is what we've been doing the last year. In fact, this hosted the 5th year anniversary of the CCC in the nation on this site. So it's a big deal. You know, bring the townspeople in and people from the region and show them what the CCC does. This was the place where they did it. What happened? Well, once you got to the late 30s, we realized that there was a war going on that was going to affect us. And they started shifting from conservation to national defense. So these guys were no longer doing crop work. They were starting to build things that were going to somehow impact us in the coming war. September 1940, they initiated the draft, and your pool of eligible men disappears. A large percentage of it. December 7, 1941, Pearl Harbor, by the following fall, by the following summer, they just disbanded CCC. It was another order for obvious reasons. So the 200 odd men that worked here for $25 a week, well, $30 a week, 5 of which they got to keep, 25 of which went home to their families. They all went off to war one by one. As we know, most of them, or a lot of them, did not come back. And that is really what we should be thankful for. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Well, we just learned some things that are valuable life lessons. Thank you, Matt. That was wonderful. And if you've got more to say, Asa, you didn't take long. I thought you'd talk more. I know you can.
You thought I'd take longer. You know me so well.
I do know you will. Bless you. But before we get to, for those who want to stay around and hear more from you, but before we do that, why don't we have the youngsters go out and take the, they're walking out there already. If you'd like to get a shot of them, a picture, or just watch them, you can do so out the window or out the door on the outside here, or we can just go ahead. Are we ready? Yeah, go.